the Star Companion podcast. My name is David.
And I'm Zachary Kierstead.
And we are the podcast, Star Trek podcast, fan podcast. And our duty is to review each and every Star Trek episode by Stardate.
Holy shit, you said duty.
And today we're going to be reviewing Season 1, Episode 12 of Enterprise. And the name of the episode is Silent Enemy.
Yeah, Stardate after 09-012-15.1. If I remember right, this one actually takes place it takes place a week before the last episode.
Oh, really?
I have a feeling it's a writing flub where they weren't like, what was the last Stardate?
Right.
So technically it takes place before they do the Suliban, the whole Cold Front, temporal Cold War episode. Yeah.
Maybe they did it to confuse us further about the whole temporal Cold War. Get us in the mind frame where there's multiple timelines,
Yeah, that, or they were switching writers.
Okay.
Berman and Braga fired all the writers at a certain point in the first season.
Wow.
Because they were like, this is too much like DS9 and Voyagers, so we got to get some new blood in here.
Right.
In the same way that's exactly what they did with Discovery. So
they didn't make it very far. It's only 12 episodes in, and they already fired all the writers.
Yeah, exactly. But this episode, Enterprise is attacked by an unknown alien starship as Archer orders the crew to install experimental phase cannons. Meanwhile, Hoshi is ordered to find out what Reed's favorite food is for a birthday dinner. The Enterprise...
It's funny that you have to mention that because that's like a huge part of the episode.
It's a huge part of the episode, and they're like, Hoshi, are you working on our very important secret assignment?
On our favorite boy.
What an absolutely elaborate birthday. I mean, I get that. I've had people whose birthdays who are very keep to themselves, don't like celebrating.
Yeah.
Actually, probably most of my friends are like that. But in this episode, the Enterprise NX-01 launches Echo 2, a subspace amplifier. And Hoshi wants to run some tests, which will take about an hour. And our birthday boy, Malcolm Reed, detects an alien ship. The configuration is unknown, as T'Pol relates. The captain tries to hail him for first contact opportunity. And unfortunately, he gets no reply. The vessel then warps away, leaving Dad to surmise... Was it something I said?
Leaving Dad with his hand
yeah,
out, ready for a handshake. They left Dad hanging. And the only information Reed was able to gather from the first contact is that the ship is protected by a sensor dampening field, preventing the Enterprise from scanning the vessel. Very advanced.
I know you like continuity, and as I stated earlier, real lack of continuity with the Stardate here.
Yep, number one.
I don't recognize the configuration. Great, hail him. We need to speak to him. Maybe
they want to be our friends.
It's such a like. It's got to be pretty brutal having Dad out there.
Yeah.
I love him. I love Dad, but it's also like, maybe we should.
He goes with his gut a lot.
Yeah, he's a real 21st century American caught in the 23rd.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting thought about this episode. So the aliens eventually invade Enterprise for a moment, and they scan a couple of the crewmen. I read somewhere, and I couldn't find it, but I read somewhere on the internet that said that the aliens that showed up in this episode may have been the 8472, species 8472 or whatever. The one that the Borg
couldn't... the one that the Borg couldn't beat, Voyager.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
and
whoa.
I don't know if that's the truth. Maybe I dreamed it, because I looked all over for it, and I couldn't find it. But I thought that was an interesting. Thought.
I do have a note here that in the 25th century timeline of Star Trek Online, these particular aliens return as part of the game's Legacy of Romulus expansion.
Okay.
And they're known as the Elakai, or, for you choose out there, Elachai.
Alahenu.
Baruch. They act as allies of the Revid Romulan Star Empire under the command of Empress Sela and the Tal Shiar. So either, I like your theory better, but Star Trek Online's technically beta canon, so it's not like it's the truth, unless you go on Reddit and then they're like, well, Star Trek Online. Just kidding. Maybe, I don't want to hate on. I check Star Trek Reddit every day, so
we love you guys.
There just seems to be strong-willed thoughts everywhere.
We're trying to build a following over there. But,
yeah.
But anyways, that actually may have been where I saw that. It may have been on the subreddit, the Daystrom Institute, where they're talking about it. And I was like, that's interesting. I thought it was interesting as well that they have spaceman suits but no helmets. Like, they seem seem pretty cavalier about that.
Yeah, well, the way they, like, with their long arms walk in.
Yeah.
Dude, that was a total, like, horror, Area 51 alien fucking shot, dude.
It reminded me almost of the first episode where the Suliban on Enterprise, and, like, all the lights shut off and everybody gets all scared. I like that element. I'm a huge fan of, like, the Alien series, so space horror totally works for me.
Me too. So during this episode, we get the I wrote down, it's the Malcolm Reed parents episode.
So
I want to propose a question to you. Do we think, and, maybe this is grounds for a Daystrom article, but accents in the 24th century, don't you think at a certain point they would have stopped?
Definitely.
I get that we have Jean-Luc, who's a Frenchman with a British accent, and then you can kind of make, like, you can blur the line there, and the concept is that maybe the British accent takes over. Scotty's got an accent. And so, there were a lot of pronounced accents, including Trip, Reed. And so...
Trips from the Bayou.
Do you think there's a sentiment that transcends being a human or Federation, and they still go hyper-localized? And at what point do you think accents will stop?
Well, to be honest, that is something that I've thought of before, and I think maybe a couple episodes ago, Phlox mentioned that he had been to see the Eiffel Tower, and he'd been to see the Taj Mahal. I think this was the episode where they go into the nebula.
They have, like, the religious people who are looking at the...
Yeah, and so...
what it's called.
But my conception of it, after watching the movie First Contact, which is where they go back in time to meet Zephram Cochrane, as he's inventing warp drive, it's kind of... I don't know if they say it directly or if it's kind of, like, alluded to, but from my impression, humanity just got out of, like, a huge war, and people are trying to recolonize, basically. And so I don't know if that's exactly... I would say that possibly regional dialects could exist, but I would think that if there was a giant war that wiped out most of humanity and we're trying to recolonize, I think that may have been done away with a little bit.
I agree. So when Zephram Cochrane did break the warp barrier and First Contact happens, the eugenics war is still going on.
That's what the eugenics war.
And it's the first contact in the warp thing from Zephyr that begins the reunification of Earth.
Okay.
And so I know, and forgive me for not knowing, but there are 3 factions in the eugenics war. There's like a basically North and South America, like Middle Eastern, and
the Jedi, the Sith, and the Rogue Jedi.
Yeah, correct. That's when Star Wars and Star Trek cross timelines.
Yeah.
And in a few years, X-Men show up. There is actually a crossover X-Men.
With the Avengers?
No, X-Men and Star Trek.
Really?
Yeah, here, I'll tell you what it's called for anyone who doesn't know. X-Men and Star Trek crossover.
Interesting.
Um...
Fascinating.
Yeah, it's called Planet X. It's a 1998 Star Trek novel by Michael Friedman. It's a crossover between X-Men and Star Trek.
Is it considered canon?
No.
Oh, okay.
No. All of the fiction is technically beta canon. Except when you get to Discovery, and a lot of the Discovery novels have been kind of enveloped in the Alpha Prime timeline.
Right.
So I mean,
but do you think that regional dialects exist, or do you think that's still a thing in the future? My thought is that no, they shouldn't exist, especially after a huge war that, I mean, in my mind, would wipe out a large part of the history and culture of humanity.
Yeah. So, you know, I don't think there should be, but it seems pretty consistently in every iteration that there is some sort of dialect in the shows. And
True.
If the shows are the main timeline, main canon, then I guess we assume that some people hold strong in their regionality. Heritage?
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. It's plausible. I don't know. I guess the verdict would be undecided currently.
Yeah.
I personally think that Malcolm has an accent because he is quickly becoming the interstellar man of mystery aboard the Enterprise.
Oh.
Have you noticed this?
Whoa.
Nobody knows shit about him.
In
a couple episodes when he's trapped in the shuttle with Trip, he's recounting all the flings he had in his life. You know, he was a coxsman back on Earth.
A veritable coxsman.
A veritable coxsman. Nobody knows what he likes to eat. I mean, his favorite food is pineapple, and
as we find out,
there's as we find out, and there's of course the old trope of what does pineapple do? It makes your cum tasty. So you know,
whoa, we're making fucking leaps and bounds here, man. Okay,
that's right. Yeah, so
nice.
I think he's a spy, and I don't like it. No, I think I was connecting the dots earlier today, and I was like, you know, he really is just like James Bond in space almost.
So to continue on your thought here, if his birthday is in early September, he's a Virgo. And I think his standoffishness, his coldness, his lack of like, what does he really like?
Right.
You know, I think that's what's going on here.
But when he gets oriented towards what he wants to do, he's like all in.
That's it. Yeah, we're gonna get those phase cannons in, sir. No problem.
And you know what? Double time, triple shifts for everybody.
Yeah. Well, look, we need it. How did those two guys pivot Seinfeld base? How did those two guys not see the aliens walking by? They showed up clear as day.
Right?
What was that? I didn't see him. What?
It's like Metal Gear. What was that noise?
Holy shit. You know, there were a lot of good moments in this one. This is one of the first episodes of Enterprise where they don't leave the ship.
Interesting.
They stay in the ship the whole time, and so you get this real compact, confined story.
Yeah.
You know, Archer would walk around in his regular clothes. I think we only saw Picard do that, you know, like once or twice when he got called in the middle of the night. You know, there's just how nonchalantly Archer makes this secret mission seem. They're talking about it damn near in front of him.
Right.
You know, and then there's the whole, you know, we missed you at dinner last night trip. Oh, yeah, there was T'Pol's latest bout with chopsticks. You know, so there were a lot of fun little notions in this one.
Like, she wouldn't be able to figure out chopsticks. Come on.
Seriously.
She would have put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
Another thing about this episode is the director. I'm probably gonna butcher his name, but his name is Weinrich Kolbe, I believe.
Okay.
I believe that's how you pronounce it.
Okay.
He was also the director of the last episode of The Next Generation, All Good Things, which received a Hugo Award.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That was a great episode.
Doing a little deep dive. Oh yeah, it was a fantastic episode.
Wow, I particularly like that episode.
And a classic "it was all a dream" scenario, you know.
Hey, sorry, the interstellar dog that I've got here is making a bunch of noise.
Well, allow me to sip my interstellar beer.
What was that? A future beer, dude?
It's future beer.
They make
future
beers
ale.
platinum, and
It is platinum.
Here you go. Interesting. Yeah, I mean that definitely was an absolutely great episode.
Yeah, and so was this one. This one was all right.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but
No, I mean this is good, solid Trek. Yeah. You know.
And, you know, at the end, you know, they get attacked the first time. Archer orders them to turn around, and they end up basically defending themselves against these aliens another 2 times.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, Archer's like, forget it. We don't need to go to Jupiter Station. We don't need to upgrade this ship.
Yeah.
But like 5 minutes earlier, he gave this whole speech to, I think it was Trip, and he's like, you know, we left space dock too early, man. We were so eager to get out there, and it's like, why not just go back to Jupiter Station and get some new phasers and shit?
Got a little retrofit in, man. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instead, here, Reed and Trip having to make, you know, new phasers out of the matter resequencers, I guess.
Duct tape.
Duct tape. They're turning shit into metal so they can, you know, turn it into a phaser of some sort.
I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, it would make sense. But they should just go back to Jupiter Station. Stop futzing around here.
I don't see the problem. Yeah, I mean, I get it. There's some sort of sense of like, oh, we can't, because we need to just stay out here. And it's like, Dad, they're not taking you back at this point, you know? Like, just, you know, get some more
Dad,
food.
we're lost. Ask for directions. No!
Yeah, exactly that. All right, well, you got anything else to add? I mean, I think you nailed the synopsis.
I wanted to touch on one more thing,
okay,
just briefly. My new theory of Malcolm being the interstellar man of mystery. You know, he gets hit on by Hoshi at a certain point in the video, or not in the video, in the episode. He totally could have capitalized on that, but he turned it down, which makes me think that, you know, maybe he's not the interstellar man of mystery.
Did you just add doubt to your own theory?
I did, yeah.
Classic David, everybody.
Yeah, the infinite Libra. But, you know, it's like, would James Bond turn down a crewmate? I don't think he would, especially the most attractive one.
Do you think he's the most attractive one?
I think Hoshi is.
Trick question. It's Dad. You think Hoshi is? I don't know. T'Pol's pretty hot.
Yeah, T'Pol is pretty hot.
We don't need to objectify them all, but...
No. I mean, we could maybe do like a Patreon video about who's the hottest on Enterprise.
Excellent.
And we'll do it in a very respectful way.
Uh-huh. Yes.
With that, this has been the Star Companion.
This has been the Star Companion. You can catch us on all major podcasting platforms.
And we are now live officially on YouTube, so go check us out there if you'd like to see our beautiful faces. Really put a lot of love and sweat and hard work into that. And we're happy to be here talking about Trek, man.
Yeah, fuck yeah. I definitely am very happy to be here. For everyone that's been listening, thanks. It honestly feels good that some people are listening, and send us an email. thestarcompanion at Gmail. Like, we would just love to talk.
Yeah.
We love Star Trek. You must love it. What do you got?
Send out a subspace amplifier and we'll ping you back.
Holy shit. Nice. All right.
See what I do? I tie things together.
It's fucking brilliant. What have you been saying? I always forget what you've been saying.
Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself, everybody.